That's a helpful summary, and thank you for that. I want to ask you about one particularly disturbing issue that's surfaced in the last few days in my conversations with British officials, with American officials, and that is a concern that Russia, with its offensive, slowed, not succeeding in taking its major targets, may be considering the use of chemical weapons. I want to ask you first whether NATO has evidence that concerns it about chemical weapons, and ask second if the Russians took that extraordinary step of using what we think of as a weapon of mass destruction, what NATO's response would be.
Well, first of all, let me say that the Russians have made some very disturbing claims about what either the United States or Ukraine is doing as it relates to chemical or biological weapons. Those claims are preposterous. And even more troubling, we've also seen the Chinese actually echoing some of those claims. So we're worried about not only what Russia is accusing us of doing as it relates to CW and BW, but watching very closely to see how the Chinese are aiding them in delivering that message. What we've seen over the years is that Russia is actually the country that is the one that relies on biological weapons. We've seen them rely on biological weapons as it relates to attempted assassinations. You could think of Navalny in particular, but others. You could look at what they did and how they operated in Syria, which was horrifying. Their reliance on these types of weapons are in direct violation of international law. So yes, we are worried when when we hear them making these accusations. Sometimes what they do is they accuse us of something that they're about to do themselves, and to use that as a pretext for some sort of other attack on their part. So we are all monitoring this carefully. We are messaging to them the danger and how reckless they're being with the language that they're using as it relates to CW and BW. And in terms of what we would do, I mean, I'll let the president's words stand for themselves. I mean, you heard President Biden today talk about severe consequences if Russia were to use these types of weapons.